to another edition of the California Guy video with your boy California Guy. What's up, everybody, and welcome to this all new video. This video is going to be entitled How White Supremacy Impacts Black People in America. Now, we've been again having incidents with the police officers. Black woman getting stopped by white officer and he's beating her up and slamming her. One thing that black people gotta understand is that they were living in a country of systematic white supremacy, where they don't have rights, where we're filled with nothing but oppression in the United States, and black people have to understand that. A lot of black people are naive to the fact that America is good for them, that they could do anything because they work or they have a job or they have some form of education, and they think that you know they got all these rights when they really don't have the rights. The police has made a death warrant for black people in the United States, basically. White supremacy is stronger than ever. That's why I said the coons are fired for 2017, because there's no need for coons to even be around, because they're doing different things to black people every day as far as the police department is concerned. The police department is the vessels of white supremacy, and that's why a lot of black men has been shot over the last 8 years. The reason why black men have been shot and black women over the last 8 years, that's because the white people in power, the white supremacists, need to tell you that black people do not run nothing in America. Even if you have a black president or you have black governors, whatever you have with a black job, it means absolutely nothing to the masses. So that's why white supremacy, people got to be careful of white systematic, the system. They got to be careful of the system that's in place. You got different forms of people, white supremacists and white globalists, who control and dictate to how black people are going to live in the United States. And right now, the thing that white supremacists is trying to do right now is they're trying to assimilate black people. Basically, they want black people to be sort of assimilated and not acknowledge that racism exists. That's the new game that the white supremacists is playing while they're doing racist things towards black people. That's what is going on. They're trying to dictate to you that that racism is a thing of the past. That Lincoln freed the slaves basically, and Martin Luther King, and they're trying to make you guys mad at Martin Luther King by saying, okay, we support everything Martin Luther King did, knowing that that's a lie. They didn't support Martin Luther King, so they rewrite history. Each figure in history, like Muhammad Ali, for example, when he died this year, the alleged white supremacists was saying how Muhammad Ali fought for freedom, but they don't explain what Muhammad Ali fought for. So these are the games that's being played, this brainwashing, this systematic brainwashing to black people in order to push the agenda that white supremacy does not exist, but white supremacy is blatant to a lot of our faces that's awakened. And a lot of you black people got to get woke up. Do not look at the fact that you have material things like money or a job or college. You got to look at the fact that these people are giving you that. Everything that's given to you guys is from your masters. It is from the white supremacists. They are the ones that's giving you all this stuff. That's why I say to all you guys, we're still slaves in this country. A lot of us are still slaves in the United States. We are modern day slaves. And just because we have some little freedom or we could talk a little bit, that doesn't mean that you guys are still free, because you're not. And they playing games with you. They trick you up by saying, okay, you see some music on TV, you see hip hop music, or you see some white rapper or white singer singing like a black person. So you get the black agents to say we got kumbaya. People like Pharrell Williams that's going on TV saying that racism doesn't exist, or people like Morgan Freeman. And see, these are agents. Even on Black YouTube, you have some agents, a lot of coons that's trying to acknowledge that systematic racism doesn't exist. They say that they have all this education, and that because they got education, that systematic racism does not exist when it does exist. They've already disenfranchise black people from voting. They already have done several different things towards black people. So I'm trying to make you guys think. about all this. I'm trying to have you guys to be a little bit more educated on the ideal that systematic white supremacy is not the thing of the past, but is present. Do not look at the fact that you have money. The coons are put in place because they have crumbs. See, coons have crumbs, and the crumbs that are given to them, they flaunt those crumbs and tell other black people that you got to be like me. You see here, I'm successful. I bought a big house. So I got a big house and I live around a lot of white people, so I made it. But they won't tell you, and Malcolm X spoke on this. Malcolm X, he spoke on the coon and the crumbs that they're given. So when they give you a big house, they give you a mansion, they give you a building. Guess who owns it? They own it. You don't own it. You may own your house. You may own your refrigerator. You may own the tennis shoes. You may own a dollar. But at the end of the day, you don't own the streets. You don't own the street lights. You own absolutely nothing. Because white supremacists has kept black people from being economically strong in the United States of America. So that's why I tell you, black people, we need to wake up and we need to start having unity. Stop looking at material things like stop looking at some cheetah print leather couches, or this bullshit like that just in order to please you. Because they figure, the white supremacists figure that I give you some crumbs that, it's going to be all good. You guys are going to take the crumbs, you're going to take a bone. Other races in this country, such as Jews, Hispanics, LGBT people, Italians, all of them, they make sure they're at the table, while we're not at the table at all. At the end of the day, to face off against white supremacists, it's all about our own money. It's not about college. It's not about, working at some little labor job or some little job and feeling proud about that. No, it's about us owning stuff. It's about us being on the top of the economic chain. Because once we're at the economic chain, we got to go beyond, you know, owning a dog. We got to go beyond owning some Jordans. We got to go beyond owning a gold chain or gold ring or a house. We got to go into owning properties, multiple properties. Shout out to brothers and sisters who owns properties. We got to go into owning and renting apartments, owning houses, owning banks. That's what we got to get into, because the whole goal of the white supremacists the whole time was to keep black people from owning stuff. That was the purpose of the Ku Klux Klan. These terrorists in the United States, the terrorist goal was to keep black people from competing economically and politically. Without the economic part, politically, we can't achieve nothing. That's why Italians, Jews, Mexicans, they're all above black people. All these races, Chinese people are more powerful than blacks. We're not powerful at all. We have no power in the United States. We only got power when it's another black man. That's his reality. We only have power when we're going against another African American person. So that's where our power lies. We have no power when it comes to dealing with other races. We don't have no power when dealing with Asian people. Asian people run blacks. Hispanic people run blacks these days. Black people runs nothing, and it's sad because we fought in every single war, from the Revolutionary War all the way to the current wars that we're in, and blacks still have not achieved economic prosperity in the United States of America, and we never probably will, because we don't have the courage and the backbone to try to build. Myself, I set myself up economically where I can have power, where these people can't tell me what to do. But instead, a lot of other black people, they get crumbs again. And coons get crumbs. And coons flaunt those crumbs off to the poor black people that's in the ghetto. And I'm trying to enlighten black people in the ghetto to rise up and push a black nationalist ideal out so that we could achieve and be on top of the food chain. Do not listen to black people who are scary, because a lot of black people are cowards. Do not listen to coons who try to attempt to discredit African American people. Do not listen to because you're gonna always get that. We need to get our money together and get our own stuff and get our own code words. That's what we need to do because these other races have beat us economically and politically. Asian people has beat us. Jewish people, we're lower than them. We're the poorest race of people on the planet. Of all, African people in all the continents, in all of Europe and America, we are the lowest on the totem pole. We are low. And it's a shame that we're low. And we're low because we lack the backbone to go out there and get ours. We own nothing. We may buy a house sometimes. Sometimes we may even buy a building. But what do we got past that? We have nothing. We need to start owning manufacturing companies. We need to own more banks. And we got black banks, but we need more of them and we need to rebuild our neighborhoods again. We need to take over our neighborhoods. We need to stop going to white daddy because I think black people's dependency is on white daddy. So again, in order to achieve stuff at the table, and I remember a while back there was a discussion on voting, and some good points were made about voting. Is that the reason why we lose in voting because we have not achieved nothing economically. So without the economics, we can't achieve nothing politically. We get ignored. So black people get ignored because we take those crumbs and we get happy with our crumbs. And these politicians are not listening to our issues. But if we can start to achieve power, that's why I encourage black people to buy from their own. Buy from people that look like you. Try to support people that look like you. So that's the whole goal with this whole thing. Do not listen to coons because coons make being black bleak. All coons do is say what we can't do. So that's what we do. That's what we need to do. We need to stick together, have unity, forget the coons. Because again, the coons are fired. 2017, these were fired. Check out pro-black people such as myself. Check out people like the one named LA. Because LA, some things, me and him may not we disagree on some things, but he drops real knowledge to all these brothers and sisters. Listen to people like Cynthia G, or listen people like Voltron, because I have no ego. I promote other black people. Voltron Black, New Possibilities. You got different platforms. TRS. You got different black platforms that you could follow. Listen to, and there's other ones too. Who else I could think of? Tariq Nasheed. Listen to the big dogs, Tariq Nasheed, because a lot of these people, a lot of these black people have different ideas. There's other ones too. I just can't think of them right now, but listen to some of these people. And shout out to people like Sinanj, by the way, because celebrities like Sinanj and other ones, they're coming back and they're bringing back the Black Power movement. And again, we need to ignore the coons. Coons ain't bringing nothing to the table. All coons worship is the little crumbs that they get, and then they're like mice, because a coon is like a mouse. They don't achieve nothing. They make no sense. A lot of people keep telling me about coons. They say that, well, they try to compare coons to black nationalists, and that's not true. Coons and black nationalists are not the same. See, I'm gonna correct a lot of the naysayers when it comes to coons and black nationalists. Black nationalists, they go out there and they do stuff. Coons don't do nothing, but keep black progress from flowing. That's their job. And I'm not talking about some coon on YouTube either. I'm talking about in real life. I'm talking about people that run businesses. I'm talking about coons that you work jobs with. I'm not talking about people on fucking YouTube, because they don't impact nothing anyway. Coons don't bring nothing to the table anywhere on YouTube, but they mouths in a little audience. I'm talking about like people like Sheriff Clark, or people, some certain black judges or certain black landlords that's really racist towards their own people. So I'm not talking about individuals like that. So basically what we got to do is get our shit together, and try to build ourselves up. But like and share this video because I think I've been going too long. Peace out.